Hi, this is Carolyn, and I'm here with Aaron. And this is part 3 of our conversation with Hall of Fame tennis coach Rick Macci. He has coached some of the best tennis players in the world, including Serena and Venus Williams, Andy Roddick, Maria Sharapova, Jennifer Capriati, and so many more. If you'd like to hear his tennis tips and mental tips for adult recreational players, please check out parts 1 and 2, but here's part 3.
Let me ask another question. Since you've watched thousands of tennis matches, is there one that stands out as the most exciting?
Great question. Easy answer. October 31st, 1994, just the other day, when I took that tall, skinny girl from Compton, California to make her debut. You got to remember, 3.5 years training. She never won a match. She'd always play boys or hitting partners. She never won a match. And now we're making this debut. I didn't know if she was going to freak out. I didn't know if she was going to get beat 0-0. I just knew that people would see this girl, 5'10", that ran like the wind. You know, she was like a little gazelle, a lot of open stance, serving 110 miles an hour as a 14-year-old, you know, and they would go, whoa, there's something in the oven here that's going to be good in the future. But I didn't know what was going to happen that night. So when I watched that match against Sean Stafford, okay, Richard wasn't with me. He was like I don't know where he was. And Venus won that match. And it's all over YouTube. And she came up to the net and had that smile from ear to ear. And those beads flopping up and down. She's like a human pogo stick. She's just jumping up and down. And, you know, that's with me forever. That match, because you got to understand, 3.5 years. 6 hours a day, 5-6 days a week, putting up with Richard. I should be in the Hall of Fame just for putting up with that guy, but no. And then you go to this pinnacle and it happens. Forget if she won, even if it was close or it didn't even matter, but then she won. And then, so that will never change. Nothing could change that, a grand slam or whatever, just because I was such a part of it. And you're just building for that moment. And then she almost beat Sanchez the next night. And then 8 months later, she gets a $12 million contract from Reebok, So you got to understand that match is by far the leader in the clubhouse. And I told Venus that at the after party, at the red carpet, about jumping up and down. She goes, Rick, at 42, I'm still jumping up and down all the time. But just to see that, because she was like my own daughter. So was Serena, they were like my own daughters. You got to say, we're like that. And when that happens and you just, you see that happen after not playing at all and what was on the line, that match is the best of all time.
That's great.
That is great. That is great.
Yeah.
Was it weird at all to see yourself in a movie? I would think that would be so strange. What was your reaction to that?
I'm kind of like naive and I didn't know the magnitude. Well, first off, I didn't know exactly how the movie was going to be told. So I didn't know if they were going to tell how it really happened or like Compton to center court. And when they told, how much I cared and the bond we had and the risk I took, I mean, that just was amazing because that's the true story. But to answer your question, I asked my daughter, who's right here next to me, I said, listen, am I that wired and fired up all the time? She goes, Dad, yes, you are all the time. My name is Richard Allen Macci. She called me Richard Alien Macci because I just do things a little bit different, but all from the goodness of my heart. But the movie was spot on. Once I saw it 3 or 4 times, I kept seeing more. The only thing that was wrong, John Bernthal had this mustache and it was very bushy. I had this little piece of AstroTurf that took me 30 years to grow. So the mustache was way off, but he kind of had the talk, the walk, the nuances, but it showed that I was just all in. And I told John, we talked many times and he talked to me before and he read the book. I mean, he did an amazing job. And Will Smith with Richard, I told Will at the after, that was crazy. I'm just telling you, he was better than Richard. Because no one had a better front row seat than me other than Orsine the White. I was laughing the first time I saw the movie. I'm going, this is freaking me out. But it wasn't weird to see it because it's exactly what happened. Now, if it wasn't kind of what happened, then maybe I'd have felt different. But because there was just so much like family and love and the journey and how it really happened and how, Venus and I were and stuff like that and how Richard was, I think that's what made it more enjoyable. But to see myself, not that much, because I see myself in other situations, video and some TV, but it was a little bit different, but I didn't ever look at it like that. I just watched the movie, and when I got back on the court, said, I got to get better. So that's me.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Can you tell us your most memorable moment on the court, both as a player and as a coach?
Yeah, the best moment on the court would probably be, because I used to play. I picked up a racket. This is a crazy story. I picked up a racket at 12 years old. I grew up in a small town, Greenville, Ohio, 10,000 people, 20 miles southwest of Dayton, Ohio. My father passed away when I was 10, so it was just me, my mom, and my sister. I used to play golf. I was a 4 handicap. How crazy is that at age 11? I thought I was going to be a pro. No, I was like the arrow. I could hit that ball like that. And now, if I ever played, I'd be the sparrow. It'd be going everywhere. So I picked up a racket at 12. By 18, I was number 1 in the Ohio Valley. No lessons. How crazy is that?
Wow.
I got to be pretty good. I was like one of the best Ohio. I was in New Jersey for a year. I was number 1 in the men's division. Probably the best moment I ever had when I got to play the Dayton Pro Classic. I got to play the qualifying with all the big guns. Here I am, no lessons. And, I got an opportunity to play in something like that. And I kind of made myself. That would probably be the best. I have so many tournaments I played that were, I got to tell this story now that you asked me. It was Willingboro, New Jersey. I tell this to the kids all the time. Okay. It was 4th of July. And it was Willingsboro, New Jersey. I was playing the finals of a $1,000 prize money tournament. And right when the match was starting, it was at a city facility, and the road was right behind the tennis court. It was like Main Street. And there was like cheerleaders and floats and motorcycles and fireworks. It was insanity for like an hour and a half. You can't even hear. You couldn't hear the ball. It was crazy. So we started the match. And me and the guy we played were like even. We're like pretty close. I played him before. It was like 6-4 in the third. I won. I had to get that in there. So, but we were even. So now we're playing, okay, and it's out of control. The noise and everything. I win 6-0, 6-1, 40 minutes. Listen to this. The guy breaks a couple rackets. He throws the water jug over the fence. He's going crazy like Joe Psycho. I don't remember the guy's name. The newspaper, Willingboro Gazette, interviewed him. What do you think of the tournament? He goes, this tournament's terrible. They should have canceled. They should have waited till 11 to start the match. This parade is a joke. It's out of control. It was just insane. So, and then they come to me and they say, what do you think about the match? And what about the parade? So on and so forth. And I go, what parade? See, I flipped it in my mind. I love cheerleaders. I love the float. I love the motorcycles. I love the noise. It became my best friend. And before I knew it, the match was over and I gave him a donut and a breadstick. So that's a great story. So accurate. And I tell that to the kids, all the time, how it is what it is. Now, what are you going to do? See, you asked me that earlier about reacting to the problem, and mind control flipped it. And that day, for whatever reason, and the more he got upset, the more I love the cheerleaders and I love the motorcycles, and it was amazing. So that's a great story. And the other question was,
as a coach, what's your most memorable moment?
I don't like to single anything out because obviously the Venus moment trumps everything. I've had so many, but it'd probably be 1988 when I took Jennifer Capriati to the hard court nationals. Me and Stefano, who's no longer alive, took her there as a 12-year-old. She's playing the 18 and under. That in itself, like crazy. People have driver's license, boyfriend. And she's this little pipsqueak, okay? And I got her to play near the baseline, take the ball early. She used to hit side spin like Chris Evert, changed that, got her a serve. She was like, the ball was on a string, racket back in the parking lot. She had the best technique or fundamentals I've had to this day. She was like amazing balance. She could hit ground strokes with a cup of water on her head and both shoulders and not spill it. She was a wizard. Anyways, Jennifer won that tournament. Okay. And right then and there, I knew like, you know what's coming next, endorsements like through the roof. And she comes off that court right up in the crowd and gives me the biggest hug ever.
Aww.
Oh, that's great. That's a great memory and a great story.
Yeah. No, it's like, so I've never even said that to anybody because it's more the Venus, because that was like unreal. But Jennifer, she's like one of my all-time favorites and still talk to the mom now and then, but she's amazing. She's a wizard. I'm never saying like it. And listen, I've had more than anybody in the world. Unbelievable. Think about it. 12 years old doing that.
Yeah. You've had a lot of families, like I know you have your own family, but you've had a lot of extended families. I mean, what a amazing legacy. And, I know it's the coaching and it's the being with them through the mental and everything else. But I just think you've made such an impression on so many people. It's amazing.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that because one of the things that happens now, I coach a lot of the kids of the parents who I coach them, like Christian Ruud. Casper, I coach Christian. He was Norway's #1 player when he was like 17 and he became the best player. Now his son took his place, and I met up with him at the Miami Open and watched him play Alcaraz in the finals. But they all come back. Everybody that I talk to, it's not about you help my serve or forehand or backhand or strategy, even though I did that. It's like the work ethic and the attitude. And a winner finds a way and a loser makes excuses. But I didn't try to do that with them, but they pass that down to their children and they put it in at a young age. And if the kid buys in, then it's like a game changer. And that's what Casper Ruud, he actually told that story after winning 4 clay tournaments in a row. Out of nowhere, he started talking about Rick Macci. And I never met Casper. And he said, my dad told me he went to academy. And he said, winners find a way, losers make excuse. And I always remember that. I don't have time to get tired. I don't make excuses. I don't live my life. Now, to get the kid to buy into that, especially in today's world, that's amazing parenting if you can get the kid to think like that. But no, that's what makes me feel the best, whether they're a doctor, or lawyer, whatever they do, they all say the same thing. It's all more about life lessons. So I'm probably more a life coach. As a tennis coach, it's just that I'm showing them how to hit a tennis ball.
Yeah. Well, that's the mental side. I mean, that's what you're teaching is, a lot of, we even know this as rec players. A lot of us we have the same skill level. We're ranked, we're very low ranked, but like we all play within our level. But it's, the ones that win are usually almost always the ones that are more mentally strong. Almost always.
And it's what's underneath. But for them to come back, and that's what they tell me. They don't talk about the tennis part as much, other than it was a great time, one of the best times of my life. That's obvious that's going to happen. So I create an environment like I did for Venus and Serena. Even the Rick Macci Academy it's so positive. If you go on the website, there's motivational signs everywhere. You just see things that inspire you. It's like Disneyland and Candyland, but I tell people it's a land of opportunity for all ages and levels. What we do, and so, but the people, they feel that, and when you can inspire people, maybe you can make a little difference. And as we all know, a little difference means a lot.
We can't thank Rick enough for coming on the podcast. We have one more episode with Rick where he discusses some of the biomechanics of tennis, and we even tell Rick some of our problems. If you'd like to contact Rick Macci for a lesson or maybe a lesson for your kids, we've included his contact information in our show notes, and we think that would be such an incredible experience. We hope you check out our website, which is secondservepodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening and hope to see you on the courts soon.